Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Kageyama, and I'd like to welcome everyone here to Be Your Own Hero. I'm a stage 4 prostate, bone, and lung cancer patient slash survivor. Been dealing with cancer since late 2020, early 2021, which is a real short time compared to my guest coming up here, and we'll talk about that. We actually have kind of a rainy day here in Texas, which is kind of nice. It's kind of the weather's been really, really beautiful, and to get a little rain, it's always a nice thing. And eh, my attitude about every day is I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity to wake up to a new day, and I'm gonna make the most of it, whether it's sunny or it's rainy. It doesn't matter. That shouldn't affect your attitude. And that's the most important thing that we should all be concerned about is our attitude and what we share with other people. Please like, subscribe, make a comment in the comment section of the video, and we're going to get going here with a great conversation. I have with me today Mike Fitzpatrick from Florida, and he is a longtime pancreatic cancer survivor of 25 years, and his story is absolutely phenomenal. So at this point, without further ado, I'd like to bring on Mike Fitzpatrick. Mike, welcome. Thank you for coming on, sharing your story. Tell us who you are and a little bit about your story.
Well, thanks for having me. Of course, it's an honor to be on here with you, Mark. And so my story begins where I inherited a gene mutation from my parents. And I was the one person out of 2 million to have this rarest form of pancreatic cancer as well. One person out of 2 million at the time in New England, where I originally am from. So it took 10 years to find out exactly what was the matter with me. I kept having severe stomach pains. Um,
Hey,
and
you know, let me pause you right there. You notice he just said it took 10 years for him to get his diagnosis. I mean, and this was at a time, what I call the Stone Age of cancer. And I can't even imagine how you survived 10 years not knowing what you had and dealing with all the symptoms that you had. And so share with us some of the symptoms that you were dealing with and
well,
what you were doing, in your daily life trying to support your family.
well, I was a outside sales representative, and I would go around New England for an advertising company. And going through all this, I would have severe pains in my stomach, lightning strikes throughout my back. I had severe diarrhea and vomiting almost every 90 minutes. Um, we got to a point
And this
where
was every day?
everyday occurrence.
Wow.
So I would go back and forth to the doctor's office. The doctors would keep telling me nothing is wrong, just twisted bowel. One of them said. Matter of fact, they opened me up right down the middle. And that was as I was coming out of the anesthesia, I could hear them talking. They were like playing around with my bowels, and they're saying that he just had a twisted bowel, and I could hear this. Believe it or not, I could hear this. And then they finally realized I was coming to, and so they said, "Yeah, just he's got a twisted bowel. Sew him up and let him test and eat in about 5 hours." And so they sewed me up. I'm on my in the hospital bed. I ate a bunch, and same thing, diarrhea, vomiting was the big thing. I would vomit 20, 25 minutes at a time till I was empty. Then I would get rehydrated and eating Tagamet. They're giving me Tagamet, Prilosec, and whatnot to kind of settle the stomach down. Matter of fact, one of the doctors told me to live with it. So that's what I did. Basically, I was eating Tagamet and Prilosec every 90 minutes and almost like candy. Um, but again, extreme fatigue. Here I am trying to work and
How are
falling
you
asleep at the wheel.
able, how are you able to, if you're throwing up like crazy and everything like that, how were you able to maintain your weight, or did you? Were you losing weight like crazy?
No, that was one of the things. My weight was stable at the
Really?
time. Yeah, I was stable. I was 260 pounds when I went in for the operation. And we'll get into that a little bit later on, right? Because
Okay.
after 10 years, I was going back and forth, feeling crappy all the time, throwing up, vomiting. It was like wash, rinse, and repeat, right? So finally, a routine MRI found that I had mass on my pancreas and um, many that were intertwined in my veins. And so the surgeon I had found it. He called my wife and I into the office and he said, I got good news and I have bad news. I said, well, give me the bad news. Well, he says you got pancreatic cancer. And I said, well, what's the good news? The good news is that there's a procedure that we can do on you, but we don't know how to do it. Number one, I had never done this procedure. So he wrote on almost like a cocktail napkin. Well, it's like changing your oil. Uh, we have to take this out. We have to take that out. The only thing is we can't put them back in. And so I said, okay, what if I don't do this procedure? Well, then you could have sudden death. Your stomach could explode at any time whatsoever, wherever you are. So I opted for the surgery. I didn't even know it was called a Whipple. But the kicker here is that he told us, that my wife and I, that he had never done this type of procedure before ever in his career. So I have to go ahead.
Didn't
I
that
have to get.
scare you?
It scared me a little bit, yeah. But what were my options, right? So
Wow.
so he says I have to develop a dream team of specialists around the country, and so around the country. Uh, but it's going to take me a few months. So this was in late 1999, early 2000, around New Year's Eve. And so in May of 26, after getting the team together, which included uh, Zollinger, the nephew, if you're familiar with Zollinger's Ellison, which they've referred to as my syndrome, MEN1 syndrome. And so there I was, May 26, 2000, being wheeled uh, into the operating room. Now I had a 50-50 chance of being bleeding out as well. So after 10 years, there I was being wheeled into the operating table. Now, prior to that, with the diagnosis, I started drinking a little bit. And and so my ex daughter-in-law, came out because people were concerned that I was drinking a lot. They said, "Leave him alone. Let him drink. He's gonna die anyway." And then I said, "Hmm, I better quit drinking because I have to fight this beast. I have to fight this pancreatic cancer, and that's what I'm gonna do. Positive information, not thinking about anything negative at all, and just the power of prayer with our good Lord Jesus Christ up above."
Fantastic.
And
Wow.
so, and so I did ask the doctor.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
ask you one question. When your daughter-in-law said that, she said that to your face, I assume.
Yes.
It seems like that was your trigger to turn everything around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm gonna beat this thing. And here I am, 25 years later.
Do you still have contact with her?
No, she tries to
Okay.
make contact, but basically that's one of the reasons I moved to Florida to avoid.
Huh. Okay. Wow.
So
That
positive spin on it. Yeah, maybe she did a good thing saying that because it did trigger something in me, in my mind, and then bring on a good Lord up above and prayers and he came into my life as well. And he said, "You're not ready to leave this earth. You have a job to do, is to raise money for this, inspire, love one another, and get out there and inspire people who are suffering from not only pancreatic cancer, but all cancers." And so here I am. And
wow.
I've been up on Capitol Hill. Uh,
Let me pause you right there. I marvel at what you've said as far as how 10 year. So essentially, you didn't get diagnosed for 10 years, but then once you did, that was 25 years in itself. So essentially, it's 35 years, right? That you were dealing with it.
yeah, dealing with it. Yes.
Wow. That is a long time. How did you keep your sanity and how did you hold it together? Because that is a very, very long time to be suffering.
Well, again, the power of prayer. Um, like I said, eating Tagamet every day, 90 minutes. But um, it was a battle. It was a mental battle. You have to think positive. You can't have any negative thoughts coming into your brain, even though they seep into your subconscious sometimes. But you just got to shake your head a little bit and forward ahead.
So how supportive was your family, your wife, during this whole process? You know,
Well,
obviously your former daughter-in-law wasn't very
no,
supportive, but
no.
how about everybody else?
Well, again, folks were, they really didn't really have a firm idea of what pancreatic cancer was. So I bet you if you go out to a man on the street interview today and you ask somebody up on the street, what does your pancreas do? 99% of the people and 90% will probably not even know what it does because it's such a small gland kind of hidden away in the back of your stomach, yet it controls your whole digestive system, right? So, um, again, a lot of scientific work has to go into it.
So did you have an inner circle that you could depend on, or it was pretty much you leading the way
It was me.
through your
It
own
was me.
personal?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It was me. They said there was no support group whatsoever
Hmm.
in the country, and I believe he mentioned that it's in the closest one was in Saskatchewan. And that was another country,
Yes.
Canada.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
so much has changed over the years.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Today there are so many support groups and so much access. And I mean, you are a true pioneer. You are a trailblazer for to be able to survive pancreatic cancer of all things. That is one of the toughest cancers to deal with. And to be able to survive that with everything that you went through. my hat's off to you because that is, yeah, you are truly special, and I really appreciate you sharing your story.
Sure.
Uh, let's get into talking about, the things. Well, actually, before we do that, so you had this procedure in what is the timeline of you? When did you start getting better, and how were you navigating life at that point?
Well, I was like sawed in half, like a circus a performer, right? So I had staples from one end of my abdomen to the other. And I had a nurse come in every day to clean my wounds. And so it took me a good 8 months, a good full year before I felt started to feel better.
You weren't working at that time, were you?
No, no.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I got a call from the company I was working for in Boston and told me don't come back to work because your position's been eliminated along with your whole department. We'll pay you a severance and all that, but I had Mass Health at the time, which covered my insurance and hospital bills and everything was covered.
Wow, that's great. That
Yeah,
is great. I
I
mean,
felt good enough, uh, being in the house. I felt good enough, and I got kind of yelled at by the nurses as I went on a train and I went to Fenway Park and went to a ball game, and that said that wasn't a good thing to do. But I did get yelled at. I said, okay, if you do it again, we're not coming back to help you.
oh wow. That is wild. So
Yeah.
when did you, at what point in time, around what year did you feel like you turned the corner and you were getting better and you were making progress uh, in a positive way?
You're looking at 2000. Well, I got married uh, in 1985, but you're looking at the middle 2000s, probably
Okay.
2010.
Okay. All right. That is a very, very long journey. That is
Long journey.
ama absolutely amazing. Have you written a book or anything like that
I
aside from your
ha
advocacy?
I haven't. I put something out there online, and now I'm getting inundated with ghostwriters and promising this, promising me that. $99. Yeah, we love your story, but
Yeah.
I don't know. They're kind of
Okay,
shady, I think.
let's get into what you're doing for your advocacy and advocating on Capitol Hill and things of that nature.
Well, yeah, we're up on, you know, I call almost every month. I call our local Congress folks. As you may or may not know, you probably know this, but government funding is at a standstill, particularly for cancer research. So now we have to step up as citizens and go out and cover it ourselves at the time. Political right now, but it is what it is. We got to stay positive and keep bugging senators to every month and to pass the bill that appropriations for funding. We
Hmm.
can't let them forget about this. But again, up on Capitol Hill, spoke with a lot of the congressmen and women and told them my story. And we went as a group, back in 2019. And by the way, I had a recurrence of pancreatic cancer in 2018, where it did come back. And even today, after being told that I had the nano knife, that went in and got the two tumors on my pancreas. After they said they got them out, 6 years later, I found out that that's not the true. That's not true, and that the two tumors are still inside me. So I get a shot once a month now to keep them at bay from spreading. So technically, I'm a two-time pancreatic cancer survivor. Technically,
I'm glad you brought that up. What is your outlook? When it came back the second time, what were your thoughts about
well,
that?
my thoughts is that we made so many advances in pancreatic cancer and in cancer research already that a nano knife, wow, something that took 13 hours on the operating table now only took like one day. And I was out of the hospital and, like I said, one day the next morning.
Fantastic,
Kept me
fantastic.
overnight to keep an eye on.
What would you like to leave our audience as the most important thing that you want to leave people with?
Stay positive, love each and one another, no negativity. Don't listen to the outside world. There's a lot of naysayers out there. Stay true to yourself, right? Stay true to yourself and remain positive. I get a lot of emails coming in every day from people who are suffering and they're depressed. But I always tell them, keep on keeping on, stay positive. Remember the good times you had with your family and don't let any negative thoughts get into your minds.
Let me ask you this. Do you think your positive attitude came from your sales experience?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Positive attitudes. Um,
Because it's
just as
not easy to be on a salesman on the road. And
I know
so, yeah, that is, I've done that myself, so
a
I know.
lot of rejection, a lot of rejections, and uh, being a pancreatic cancer survivor and living through. What's the big deal? If somebody says no, then we move on to the next candidate, right? You can't let that dwell into you. Used to earlier, but not anymore. I lived every day to the fullest. I'm glad I wake up every single day, and I thank the Lord for for uh, for allowing me to continue my advocacy and reach out to groups and inspire and love one another, and that's going to be my legacy.
Wow, what a beautiful message. I love that. Final question for you, Mike.
Sure.
If you had a superpower and you could do whatever you needed to do, how would you make the world a better place?
Well, once again, you would get into stop the fighting amongst one another. Just work together, as a team, work together as a team and quit this fighting around the world and just cut it out basically. But love one another. Let's work together on solutions and praise our Lord Jesus Christ.
Fantastic message, Mike. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I am so glad that you uh, are here to tell your story. And I mean, you are a true warrior to go through 10 years of what you went through without even getting a diagnosis. I mean, that is somebody who is very, very special. We really appreciate you. Uh, it's been a pleasure and a true honor. So thank you, Mike.
Thank
And
you.
I'd like to thank each and every one of you out there for joining us here at To Be Your Own Hero. Please like, subscribe, make a comment in the comment section of the video. And I love Mike's message, let's love each other and work together because that's how we can make this world a better place. I mean, life is hard enough the way it is, but when we're fighting each other for no reason, and a lot of times no reason, it doesn't make sense to me. So appreciate each and every day, like Mike says, because we only go around once. We've only been gifted with one life. Make the most out of each and every day, each and every hour, each and every minute, and each and every second. And once again, thank you so much for joining us here at To Be Your Own Hero. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you next week on To Be Your Own Hero. Thank you very much.